What made you lose respect for someone? I had a friend throw another the buzz. Both were equally at fault in this situation, but rather than take responsibility, the blame was deflected and blame deflector didn't take any heat. Told his ex-girlfriend to kill herself for the last 2.5 months, was only pulled on it on Monday last week. Needless to say, I haven't talked to him the last few days because it feels wrong. I don't think we'll be talking for a while. Not accepting other people's religion and constantly talking about how they could convert me. I'm an atheist, with peace and love. I respect every religion and I love diversity. Just don't try to force anything on anyone. Saw a pregnant woman smoking the other day that was pretty rough. When a member of the team I supervise ranted about my leadership to me while I was actively trying to support them in dealing with a difficult client and then said, "I guess I should just chalk it up to your age." I reminded her that I was her boss, and that if she had the gall to say that to her supervisor, could I trust what she was saying to clients and colleagues? That seemed to get my point across. I will continue to treat her equitably and professionally through the end of her contract, but I no longer respect her. They sold their Dogecoin. Smoking. My dad and former beat friend. They both took me for granted and treated me like shit. My dad I kept in my life in a very shallow relationship. My former friend invited me to her birthday gathering at a sushi restaurant. She ate like $150 of sushi, as did her cousin. There were 6 people, my lunch was $11. I worked part-time at UPS at the time. They knew I was lean on disposable income but wanted me to pay $50 for a bunch of people who ignored me outside of a few get-togethers, and for my friend who treated me with progressively aggressive open disdain ever since I told her I had a boyfriend in 2009. I said nope, and haven't seen them since 2011. One of my best friends in childhood became a terrible person growing up. They're racist, sexist, anti-science, conspiracy lover, the whole package. I was shocked when I met them again a few years after graduation. I don't know what went wrong in their life. They were a caring and lovely person as a child. My best friend in my early to mid-20s kept getting girls pregnant, convincing them to keep the babies, and leaving them after the baby was born. The last one that I know about was a 17-year-old girl. Buddy was about 25, and he left her less than a month after the birth for some chick up the street that he had begun fucking before the 17-year-old even got pregnant. I think he currently has 4 to 6 children, all by different girls. Every time someone says "Jeust to Pile Devil's Advocate," me and some friends invited some other friends to a barbecue. One friend who told me that she gonna arrive changed her mind after realizing that she can't drink because she need to drive, and cancelled only for the option to go alone somewhere else and drink. I saw them in the mirror. When my brother looked at me with hatred and said, "I don't believe you're depressed. I don't care if we drive each other to suicide." Voting for Brexit. Edit, the person that downvoted me voted for Brexit. Fucking my girlfriend and then, a few years later, running guns up to the assholes at Ruby Ridge. Yeah, Steve, fuck you and fuck you with a complete lack of respect, you fascist sack of shit. Last year it became undeniable that my friend of 10 years was a toxic and obsessive psychopath who could not be trusted. He stalked girl after girl, acted out when he was called on it, and never took responsibility for anything. He claims he's different now, but I'm not confident that it'll stick should I take him back in. They refused to wear a mask in public to protect others during a pandemic. An old school friend of mine admitted she basically raped her ex in order to get pregnant by him. She got him drunk, said she was on the pill, and pretty much forced herself on him. The thing is, when I've mentioned this to other girlfriends, without giving away the name etc., this actually sounds, sadly, kind of common. I find that absolutely reprehensible. Girl I went to primary school with 10 years earlier, was due to be popping out her 5th babe. She'd never had a job and her husband was a trash human but had a decent job as a butcher in town. I heard she was doing it tough for food. So did a little donation from the pub I was managing. Bunch of tin foods, tray full of bacon, lamb chops, steak, chicken legs, sausages and rissoles, plus 2 dozen eggs and 2 loads of bread and a bucket of apples and strawberries and mangoes. Took it round to her, and she just whinged that she had chickens so doesn't want eggs and doesn't like lamb or beef, so why did I give her that, and the tin foods were the commercial brand not the expensive ones, and her family don't eat SHT from trees, it'll feed the chickens, about the fresh fruit. Then the kicker was, she cursed me out and told me I needed to cancel the pub ban on a guy that had physically assaulted me 5 days earlier, because he was her drug dealer and it cost her more now because he had to walk further to get his alcohol. How I kept my cool and didn't snatch everything back and take it to the next town's homeless shelter I don't know. I was in cafeteria and then all of a sudden I hear, did you see last Chad Wild Clay video? Then after that question she was talking to her friend about how they couldn't believe how blah 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 was so cool and they actually believed it. The worst part is when I tried to tell them that it was fake they were trying to convince me and I was giving logical answers. And #X200B. This is not as bad as the others but it still pissed me to this very day, so yeah. When he beat up a 4th grader, then tried to pass it off as him being cool. Fucking dumbass. Had a workmate that impregnated his girlfriend. They lost the kid and then proposed to her. A new workmate came and he threw the fiancée for her. I had high respect for him. We were all disappointed. She demanded her nursing sister-in-law move from the couch so her drunk husband could sleep comfortably. Mind you, her husband had passed out on a chair 2 hours ago, upside down face, upside down face. Happy Cake Day. People who act nice around someone and then when that someone leaves they immediately talk about that person badly behind their back. Boss took credit for my work. Lying about something they very well had the knowledge about. Frown. She sent someone to beat up her ex. Let's just say I stopped hanging out with her. I once had a friend that was a grade ahead of me, but one day while we were walking around the school he went on a rant about how Biden will take everyone's guns away and how Mexicans are ruining the country. When they started being a jackass on Discord. Voting for Trump. So having an orange baby. I was showing my friends something with the computers in my school, yes, stupid move, and the teacher caught me and accused me of trying to hack Tehima in Frami and said how he obviously knew more about computers than me when he had no clue what was happening. Knew a girl that wouldn't break things off with her boyfriend for 2 weeks because she was waiting for him to fix her PC. One day me and my friend were at the school park, we were 5th graders. Then some kindergartners came out and my friend said, I'll be Anakin, the kindergartners will be the younglings. I was starting to laugh until I saw him get a stick that was shaped like a spear. You can probably guess what he was about to do. Thankfully, a teacher stepped in before something bad happened. Sadly, I got in trouble too. He is also no longer my friend. Happy Cake Day. There was a man at church who I now refer to sarcastically as the High Holy One, HHO. He was well respected by everyone, and I really looked up to him. In fact, he had been responsible for my parents allowing me to go on my first mission trip as a teenager. He vouched for the people leading the trip, because like any parents, mine weren't too keen on letting their teenage daughter go running off to a foreign country with people they'd never heard of before. I really considered HHO a mentor and a spiritual role model. A couple of years ago, a close friend of mine confided in me that her dad, a former elder at our church, had sexually abused her as a child. We've been friends for over 30 years, so I know she's telling the truth. Besides, the guy was a real creep and was always ogling young girls. He was gross. My friend went to the HHO for spiritual advice, and he basically told her that she was having false memories of abuse because she was committing sexual sin with her boyfriend. My friend was dumbfounded, and so was I. I lost every ounce of respect I'd ever had for HHO that day. What an ass. I guess it was easier for him to make up some BS that has no biblical basis whatsoever rather than admit his former buddy had raped his own daughter. One day scrolling through FB I noticed that my friend liked many photos of my ex and the new girlfriend. The thing is that I told her about how painful that breakup plus his revenge was for me, especially coming from someone who I loved and respected. I started to question my friendship with her. Eventually she gave me more red flags. Now we barely talk because I don't trust her. Obviously I lost respect from my ex-boyfriend too because what he did was too disrespectful. He started dating the only person I didn't like because we had a bad past and also because she caused too much pain to one of my friends. He only dated her to hurt me. I don't see how he could justify such move, to be honest. We never talked again and I'm glad.